That one's broke. Okay. Everyone put the iPads away. Today we're doing rules of exponents. Just the basic ones today. This is nothing new. It's stuff you've learned in the past. The first one, the most basic one, is the product of powers. And what that says is if you're multiplying two things that have the same base, do you guys remember what the base is?
The bigger number.
Like 3 to the 4th. The base is the bottom number and the power or exponent is the top number. First of all, just to refresh your memory, 3 to the 4th is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Everyone remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. So the product of power says, I'll just use an actual example. If you've got two numbers that have the same base, to simplify this, that's why it's product, because they're being multiplied. What you do is you add the exponents. Maybe you remembered that. 3 to the 3rd times 3 to the 5th is 3 to the 8th. So if they tell you to write it as a product of powers, that means you don't have to solve it. You just got to write it that way, which is what we're doing in today's assignment. If they tell you to solve it, everyone know how to use these on a calculator? The caret key, or on the smaller calculators, it's a y to the x key. You just put the number and then hit either key and then the exponent. Now remember, sometimes people get messed up on this. 4 times 4 to the 3rd is what? 4 to the 4th, right. Remember, if there's no number there, that means it's a 1. So, if you have x to the 7th times x to the 3rd, that is x to the 10th. Easy enough, right? Now, do you understand why it's this?
Because you're just adding.
The reason why, if you did it the long way, x to the 7th means x times x times x times x times x. 7x is multiplied together. And then it's times another x to the 3rd is 3 of them. So that's why you just add them up. It's x to the 10th. Okay? A lot of times people mix up x times x and x plus x. People always say, or I don't know always, but a lot of times people will say this is 2x and that is 2x.
Isn't that 2x and that was x?
This one is 2x because an x plus another x makes 2x's, but what's an x times an x?
X.
X squared, because of this property. Because remember, when it's multiplied, you add the exponents, and if there's nothing there, that means it's a 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay? So the longer ones would be okay. If we had to simplify this, remember, it doesn't matter what order you multiply it in. Remember what that property is called? Commutative. So you could rearrange this. You don't have to, but I'll just show you why it is the way it is. I could rearrange it 3 times 2 times x to the 5th times x cubed times x. So what is 3 times 2? And then this makes x to the 9th. So all you do is you multiply the numbers, if they're different like that, and then you just combine those. If it happens, say it was like this. Now they're the same base. So 3 times 3 to the 5th is 3 to the 6th. Because remember, this counts as a 1, so 1 plus 5 is 6. And then the x's, there's still 5, 3, and 1 is 9.
It's confusing.
So if they say write it as a product of powers, that means you don't have to use the calculator to figure out what it is. The only time you'd have to multiply them actually out is if they were different numbers like that. Then it's just 3 times 2 is 6. See the difference? Okay. All right, so that's product of powers. You just add the exponents if the bases are the same. Then we've got a power of a power. So a power of a power is x to the third raised to the second. You got a power raised to another power. You multiply, right? So if there's 2 of them, you add them, but if it's just one thing raised twice, you multiply them. So this would be x to the 6th. The reason why is if you square something, that means you take it times itself twice, right? So if you wrote it out, it would look like this. Now it turns into this problem. X cubed times x cubed is x to the 6th. So if you had 3 to the 4th raised to the 3rd, 3 to the 12th. The reason why is if we wrote this out, 3 to the 4th cubed would mean you take 3 to the 4th times 3 to the 4th times 3 to the 4th. So now it turns into that, which you'd add, and you'd get 12. Then they kind of combine it where if there's a couple things in there, x cubed y to the 5th cubed.
So you times both.
Right. If we wrote this out, it would be x cubed y to the 5th times x cubed y to the 5th times x cubed y to the 5th, because there's 3 of them. So you can combine, there's an x cubed, an x cubed, and an x cubed makes x to the 9th. y5, y5, y5 makes y to the 15th. So it's just like this, except there's 2 numbers in here. You got to multiply that. 3 times 3 is 9, and you got to multiply that. 15. Okay, so this one, it's just as easy, but the thing most people forget to do is to do the number. You got to do it to everything that's in there. So remember, if there is no exponent, it means it's a 1. So you take 1 times 3 is 2 to the 3rd. There's nothing there, which means it's a 1. 1 times 3 is x cubed. And then 4 times 3 is 12. And again, if they tell you to write it as a product of powers, you just leave it like that. Yeah, today we do that. You don't have to figure it out what this is. It's really not wrong if you do. 2 cubed is 8. But just for today, you can just leave it like that. Okay? So, yeah, it's just doing these 2 things today.